Yep. Okay. First off, credit to Wake Forest, a really good basketball team. I got a lot of good players and they're really good. And obviously we had a shot to win the game there at the end, and could have gone either way. And just unfortunately the ball didn't bounce our way, there at the end. But really proud of our young men. Thought we did a great job defensively. They're Wake Forest, one of the best offensive teams in the country, and in the obviously I think the best numbers wise in the ACC. We held them to 44% from the field and 27 from three. So I thought we did a nice job defensively. And that one stings because we had the game, and but that's the way the ball bounces. So credit to Wake Forest to get that win. It was a good basketball game.
Questions?
Josh, what was your take on the officiating late? There was obviously a huge foul disparity in the game, huge disparity in free throws, and then several kind of questionable calls at best, 50-50 calls that seemed to go against you guys late.
Well, the commissioner Phillips sent a email to all the head coaches, both the men's and women's coaches and the athletic directors this week, about sportsmanship and about any comments on officiating. So out of respect to Commissioner Phillips, I'll not say anything because I have tremendous respect for Commissioner Phillips and want to follow his directives and orders. And so I'll leave that to, Mr. Brad Strickland, my bosses, Mr. Strickland and Mr. Batt, on that. But I've got to follow the commissioner's directions and orders of, not to say anything about officiating or, anything like that in a post game.
Ken.
Josh, when you say you had the game, at what point did you start to feel like at what point did you start feeling like that you lose control of it? Or when did you feel like you had it, I guess?
I mean, we had a 1 point lead, Ken, with 7 seconds to go. We were up, we were up there, 5 or 3 it was, I forget, again, I might all run together. We missed a shot. They came down, scored. And I thought Kyle, we got the ball to Kyle right there. And I got to watch the replay. I don't know if, he bobbled it or whatever happened, but he had it. He just, because they were going to foul. He didn't even need to dribble it, but unfortunately he lost it. And, that happens. But then we came down and, they scored, then we came down and scored. And, we had a play right there. But I'll follow Commissioner Phillips' directives.
Gosh, you talked about that sequence, up a point with 31 seconds to go, inbound the ball underneath Wake's basket. It seemed like Wake really amped up the defense.
Yeah.
Those 3 inbounds plays made all 3 of them difficult.
Yeah.
So what was going through your team's mind? Were you trying to get down there?
Well, they had a couple fouls to give. So they could be really aggressive because they had a bunch of fouls to give. So because of that, they could be really aggressive, and we got it in, and then, they kept fouling, and then we got it. Kyle Sturtevant's one of our best free throw shooters, and we got it to him, and, with 11 seconds to go. And unfortunately, we just didn't, the ball we didn't get a foul there. He lost it. And that's not Kyle's fault. Just things happen. That's just the way the kind of game goes. And, sometimes when you're snake bitten, we've been snake bitten because this has happened to us quite a bit this year, where some games just have not gone our way. We've been really close and the ball just hasn't bounced our way. So, but credit to Wake Forest. They're a really good basketball team, and that was a tough way to lose for us.
Is there something that had you upset as you're coming off the court this afternoon, this evening, aside from the finish points?
I have tremendous respect for Commissioner Phillips, and he sent us, and I'm a real big believer in following my boss's orders, and Commissioner Phillips is a commissioner, and he sent out a directive to all head coaches, both men and women of men's and women's basketball and athletic directors, that you can only, sportsmanship, and all that. So I want to follow Commissioner Phillips's orders.
Coach, on the topic of physicality outside of the fouls, there was that physical game under the hoop. Rebounding was a big part of this game, especially for your team getting 15 offensive rebounds. Is that something that you can look on, more positively?
Yeah, I mean, look, our guys, I would tell you what I'm really proud of our guys. It's not easy when you have, we've had a tough season. We've had a tough year. I mean, we've lost some games and obviously it's been a tough season for us. But a credit to our young men, when we've had kind of the slide that we've had, it's very easy for guys to throw in the towel. Credit to our team, to those young men in the locker room. They've competed and played hard and have great practices. There's been no given. I always say when you're on the ropes, you have two choices. You either get in a fetal position and just give up, or you're going to fight your butt back and whatever you can do to get off the ropes. And, we've been fighting to get off the ropes. And, unfortunately the ball didn't bounce our way on today. And unfortunately that just happens.
Yeah.
But I'm really proud of our young men because it's easily, when you're dealing with human beings and just some tough, when you go through a tough stretch when you're not winning, it's not easy. It's not easy. And so I'm really proud of our young men, and our staff has done a great job. And I've been very fortunate to have, great bosses and Mr. Strickland and Mr. Batt to be so supportive during that time too. So all that positivity, even during a tough time, has allowed our guys to continue to fight and stay with it.
What was the design?
Yeah, it was a home run play, and you can look at the replay at it, but yeah, I'm going to follow Commissioner Phillips's directives. He's a commit, and I mean it. I Commissioner Phillips, I love him as a commit. I love him. He knows that. I would tell him right here, I love him, and so I have so much respect for him, and I would do nothing to never follow his orders. So I'm going to follow his orders.
Kelly.
What happened with Miles? He obviously seemed like he tweaked his leg or ankle or something.
Yeah, he had tweaked his ankle, but I put him back in. He was fine, and he tweaked his ankle at the end of that first half there, and then he ended up playing the second half. So, and look, I was proud of those guys. We started off a little slow. So I think we were down like 16-5, and then I put in, I just subbed some guys. I felt we had a change of energy, and I put in, Jalen, Tristan, Davon, Javon, and Miles. And I thought that 5 gave us a good lift back, and then we had good energy to find a way to take the lead and really play well the entire game.
Is there a situation where you're just having each game to find 5?
Yeah, I just think we're game by game, and we got we got guys who, I think we've kind of settled in a little bit to a starting group. We started that group for the last couple of games, and we'll just keep working at it, Kelly. And I've said it, our teams have always gotten better, usually in the beginning part of January. Unfortunately, we've gotten a little better into February, a little, in this part of February. And so, I wish we'd play, was getting better like this earlier. But that happens. And so, but I'm proud of our guys to continue to stay fighting and competing, and we just got to keep staying after it.
Couple
Good.
more.
Coach, Ty Appleby and Cam Phillips combined for 35 points today. What makes that backcourt such a tough matchup?
Well, you got to give Cam. I mean, they're both really good players, and I thought defensively overall we did a nice job guarding them from, because they're a really high level offensive team. We held them to 27% from 3 and 40% from the field overall. But Cameron, the biggest thing between those two was they were 13 for 16 from the free throw line. They made their free throws, and they're good players. Tough, hard-nosed guys. Credit to them. Credit to Wake Forest.
One more. Ken.
Could you comment particularly on Davon and Javon? They both did their jobs really well, it seemed like.
Yeah, I thought, look, Javon Franklin, 14 points, 15 boards. We had 15 offensive rebounds. That's been a staple of ours all year long. And I always believe that's an effort-based deal. And that's why I always tell you, besides the one game at the beginning of the ACC, when I sent everybody back, that was on me in the Carolina. But offensive rebounding is all about effort, and our guys, and that's a great sign to show, even when we've been struggling and kind of had the slide, we've always offensive rebound. And Javon did a very nice job today, and did a lot of great things, 2 steals and, 14 and 15. And then Davon had 15 points and 5 boards and 5 assists and 2 blocks. So, really proud of him as well too. So just really proud of all of our guys. Everyone contributed. Hard fought game. Could have gone either way. I'm proud of our young men, and really wanted to get that one, because for our guys, we've been working hard and we've stayed positive even through some tough times. But credit to Wake Forest, and could have gone either way. I want to be ready to go on Wednesday versus a very good Virginia Tech team.
Thanks, coach.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, guys. Yep.
Where would Bobby at? Can't come. What? They didn't need him. Yeah, you can get him. Yeah, I got you. Damn.
All right, guys, we got Tyree and Cam here. Open up any questions.
Oh God.
Let's start with the obvious. It looked like you took just a little bit longer on the last free throw there, but did I see that correctly? Kind of take a deep breath and compose yourself.
Oh yeah. I started doing that the North Carolina game for sure. I was getting too tired. Had to just collect myself and then just take my time shooting the free throws.
How good did it feel to pull that out? You guys were down 5-1 in the last 2 minutes, and you scored 6 of the last 8 there.
Great. We did not want to lose that game at all. Because we know, the irony that was gonna come, from losing that game, our tournament chances or anything like that. So, that's a big win. Ain't no such thing as a bad win. So we'll take it.
For either of you guys, was that weighing on you throughout the game? The kind of, this is a game that wouldn't necessarily be a good win, but it would have been a really bad loss.
I mean, every game is a need to win for us now. We can't have any slip ups. So yeah, of course, that's in the back of our mind that we can't lose, but we keep fighting. Everyone on the team is hard working, so we're gonna fight till the end and make sure we get the dub.
Especially with the week off now between games, how does pulling that one out at the end sort of change the morale in the locker room, heading into a break like this?
I think we still, gonna be, good spirits. We on to the next. So, we never, dwell on a win or anything like that. Once we win the game, we on to the next opponent. We got Miami. So we're gonna prepare for Miami the whole next week.
And it seemed you seem to have growing confidence in the game of getting to the net and going to the basket hard. I was wondering how that affected your play throughout.
Yeah.
I feel like getting in the paint is important for us. Getting in the paint allows defense to collapse onto me and then kick out for shooters. Coach always emphasizes we got to make sure we get in there, especially against the zone. If we just keep passing the ball around and just like jacking shots, like we're gonna make some. We've got great shooters on the team, but we need to make sure we're trying to get in the paint and yeah, I feel like I'm pretty good at that. So I'm gonna just keep doing it.
For both of you guys. Down a point with 31 seconds to go. It seemed like that series of 3 out of bounds plays were huge for you guys. You had a couple chances to get the ball stripped away, to get the ball back, and then you did on the third one. What was coach telling you guys going out into that series of 3 out of bounds plays? And what were you trying to accomplish?
We wanted to go for the steal, for first and foremost. So we, told the ref, that we wasn't trying to foul. And we had a plan, even if they scored, we had a play already drawn up that we was gonna run. But if they miss, we just gonna, get it and run and try to score.
I was talking with Bobby, and he says that you guys are trusting him more. What has his development been here the last few games? And you got, he was there at the end of the game today. What has Bobby been doing that you've seen this year?
Bobby has been, his attitude has been very, tremendous. Some games, he wouldn't play in the second half. He is still coming there smiling, happy, telling everybody good game. So I think, he been getting in the gym as well, working on his shot. So I think, all the hard work pays off. So, I think just all the hard work that he's been, doing all the last couple of weeks, I think is showing. Yeah. It's not how y'all think it is, though.
Cam, did you or Damari knock the ball away for the steal in the last seconds there? I know you guys were both around the ball.
I thought he traveled, honestly. But yeah, we weren't, like Ty said, we weren't really trying to foul. We were trying to like trap still. And if it really came to like time running off the clock, then we'd foul. But yeah, me and Damari were pressuring him, and I honestly thought he traveled. But yeah, I thought it was a good defense.
So which one of you knocked it away?
Oh, shoot, honestly, I don't remember. It could have been either one of us.
Did you have a friend here over from England?
Oh yeah, Ben. That's my boy. He's like my brother to me. Shout out Ben. Yeah, no, he plays. we played basketball together when we was younger. I've known him like my whole life, and it was nice for him to be able to come out and see two good games, two big clubs. So yeah.
You had to play well for him when you
Yeah,
travel all this way.
Right, exactly. Had to, yeah. My boy.
For both of you guys, in the second half, you took 21 free throws as a team, as opposed to only 3 in the first half. What changed in the way the physicality of the game in the second period?
My coaches told us, I think it was like the 12-minute mark. It was like early in the second half. They told us that we was in the bonus, the rest of the way. So, we didn't feel like, we had a good shot, get to the rim, play on balance and try to make a play.
This applies for both of you guys. Win is a win, but is there any, big focuses or takeaways with the time off before you guys go into what will be a massive game for your season against Miami in a week's time?
Honestly, just get a practice and work hard. Credit to Georgia Tech. They came here and ready to play. Like, there's no game. Especially us, like we can't just come in and expect to win. We have to fight against whoever it is. Focus wise, just come in, make sure we executing our offenses, doing what coach wants to do on defense. But overall, just keep working hard and keep fighting. And I believe we're good enough to beat anyone. Here comes Steven.
For both you guys, was there a point early in the second half where Coach Forbes talked to you guys about getting on the boards a little bit more? It seemed like most of the points for Tech were coming off second chance points or off turnovers.
Yeah, he's laughing in the background now. But yeah, no, it was especially on offense. How many Franklin had? I don't know how many offensive rebounds he had, but he was 8 offensive rebounds. Yeah, that was one thing that coach kept saying to us. That we got to get body on him and get rebounds because we don't want them to have more field goal attempts. So getting a rebound was one big thing that he kept emphasizing. It is crazy though.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks. Sorry.
Opening statement, then question.
Sometimes you just got to find a way, man, when things aren't going well. I'm not taking any credit away from Georgia Tech. I thought they played flawless game plan, especially on offense. They had long possessions, and then they hit some timely shots and got some big-time offensive rebounds. Franklin was a monster in there on the glass and around the basket. And then Terry and Coleman, I think, made a couple of huge threes, when we collapsed a little bit. I don't have a master's degree, but I do have one in body language, and I just could tell, not bad attitude, we just didn't have the juice. And I don't know why, because we didn't practice that way. We didn't come to shoot around that way. We just, we got up early, and then it's just like, all right, I guess the game's over, but it's not. And so, halftime was motivational, and then a couple times during timeouts, I got on them pretty hard. I tried not to because I think they need confidence. But we found a way to win. Did it with some defense. Defense was pretty good the whole game. I thought it was more our offense. They switched everything, 1 through 5. They flattened us out in the first half, and we just settled and jacked shots. Second half, we drove, played off 2, slowed down. That's why we got to the free throw line. That's why we got easier baskets. We could have done that in the first half, but we didn't. And so that caused us a lot of problems. Got a couple big-time defensive stops late. Credit to our team on the play where they had the ball, looking at the time. Smith drove it. I thought it was a charge. We'll have to go back and see. But we already had a play drawn up because we didn't have a timeout left. Now, this is how smart these guys are. So, but they went quick. There's still 6 seconds. So we changed the play, yelling at it on the court. While they were looking at the clock again, and they executed it again flawlessly. And Ty got fouled, went to the basket, won the game, and made the free throws. So it's nice to have a guy like that where you can put the ball in his hands and he can make plays. So I'd rather win than lose. And I told him after the game, it's February. You can win one of these like this, but you can't have a bunch of them. You can't string them together. We need the week off. It's coming at a good time. So open up for questions.
What was the main message at halftime without going into specifics? I mean, what was the?
They just were playing harder. I mean, I know sometimes I hate saying that because to me, that's kind of like, oh, they're playing harder. They were, right? Like I told them that we're going to go in here and we're going to fix some of this stuff, X's and O's, change some a couple things defensive, offense. But if you don't play harder with more passion, with more intensity, we're going to lose. And that's just in a nice way, That's what I was saying to him. And I said it, I think one more time out. I think second half, I went off on him just because I didn't see it. And then after that timeout, we picked it up and it was, finally got something going.
Steve, it seems the script was flipped a little bit with 31 seconds to go. Those 3 defensive plays.
Yeah.
Out of bounds. But what were you looking for?
Yeah.
Those final 31 seconds.
Well, we obviously had some fouls to give. We weren't trying to foul. Like the first foul that they called on us, we really weren't trying to foul right there. We weren't trying to get a trap and a steal first, but they called it. So, okay. Now that puts them in a tough situation because they can't move. The first one they can move because we scored, but the second, now it's a dead ball. So we tried to get a steal and then foul. At the end of steal and then foul. But the last time we stole it, and we pressed him up on the sideline. Putting Bobby on the ball is very effective because he's long and he can, it's hard for the inbounder to see. I thought our guys did a really good job of denying and making it hard for him to get in, being physical. And then we got him pressed on the sideline. Cam made a play. Andrew drove on the floor for a loose ball and we got a timeout. You can win games playing defense. And I think, yes, that we did a really good job in that situation where I don't know if I had one more timeout left. I don't think I did, maybe, but I don't think I did. But credit to them.
Coach, I know you said you had more issues with your offense than your defense in this game, but defensively, allowing 15 offensive rebounds and then the 22nd chance points.
Well, that's based on drop coverage a little bit. Okay, so here's the conundrum. They squeeze, like I told you what we did to North Carolina. We put that guy in jail. Well, they put us in jail. Most teams are going to do that. So then there's a moment of truth in there where the guard's trying to get back. The big's trying to help him and then get back to his guy. Sometimes you just have to veer back and you just have to let the guard take the big and the big take the guard. But in that moment of indecision, the ball goes up in the air. Well, who's got him on a checkout? Especially that guy who's athletic. Well, he was taking advantage of the coverage on the misses. The majority of them, in my opinion. And then second half, they weren't throwing the lane line skip, so we had to have the guard in there on the block, guard in the corner opposite to try to help on the box out. I mean, we're not great at boxing out. It's something I'm not very happy about. We work on it. But credit to him too. I mean, we weren't going to out jump him. Pretty sure on that one. I mean, he proved that. But Javon Franklin played. But I will say, I don't remember maybe the 8-minute media timeout. I don't think he got another I don't think he got maybe one more offensive rebound after that. We did a pretty good job.
So to that end, are you saying then that you aren't as frustrated with that statistic as the number would suggest?
No, I'm frustrated. I'm just glad that we won. Yeah. I'm not happy with that, and I take the blame. I'm always going to tell you where I take the blame. But we did a job. We told them how to fix it, and then they have to go do it, and I mean, there's only certain ways you can guard these guys. Okay. And then I played St. Joe's one time when Martelli was there, and it was long possessions, and then they'd make a shot right at the end of the shot clock. That's demoralizing. But more demoralizing is to get a stop and then give up a dang offensive rebound. That's frustrating. And so, you just got to go get the ball, man.
The best offensive game.
No.
It comes down and you're down 5 in the last 2 minutes, and Ty scores 6 points, scores 2 buckets.
Yeah.
And makes the free throws.
Yeah, he's a gamer. I mean,
The second game this year that he's won a game in the last seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's, and credit to our guys. They executed the play to get him to the drive. This is the thing about DeMar. He didn't play great offensively, but he got back in there, got a big rebound. But if you put DeMar in there in the corner on the ball side, he's a spacer because they're not leaving him. Guys, they were full. They were what I would call red. They were face guarding him. All right, then drive the ball. That's one less defender. But we were just selling for threes. Okay. And we're not a good team when we do that. When we just, don't ever get inside of the defense and we're just kind of jacking threes. But yeah, Ty's he's got ice in his veins, man. He's a competitor. And I wouldn't want anybody else with the ball in their hand but him. Yeah.
Is it like a field goal in the final seconds? Do you watch the free throws when they're going up, or do you not watch? Because
I watch.
Okay.
Yeah, I watch. I do. I'm a glutton for punishment. I watch. Yeah, I do.
Coach, you talk about playing off 2 feet as something that's really important. On a day like today when the threes from the outside aren't falling, how important is Cam's and some of the other guys' ability?
They won the game. I mean, we could have done it in the first half. Okay, it was there. Okay, they're switching everything. Slip the ball screen, drive the slip. It's not hard. Play off 2, slow down, shot fake. They're coming to block it, and they'll foul you or you'll get an easy basket. We just didn't do it in the first half. We settled. Credit to Georgia Tech. They executed their game plan on that flawlessly. I thought Josh had his team ready to play. They played hard. Hard loss for them. Hard loss for them because they played their guts out. But in the second half, you saw what happened. What happened? Started getting in there. And then when we slipped it and they kind of jumped out on Ty, what was Ty doing? He was firing it in there to those Andrew and Matt. And we missed some shots too now. I mean, Andrew's missed some stuff he's got to make around that basket. But yeah, playoff 2. It's the most important thing that we do.
Could you just give your evaluation of Georgia Tech kind of compared to what you saw and what you saw tonight?
They played great, and it's interesting, teams change throughout the season, and they've gone smaller and they've gotten faster, and they got they really executed. I really thought they executed the offense as good as they could, and they made very timely shots too. And then when they missed, they got 15 offensive rebounds. Are they big? Carolina's a lot bigger than they are. Duke, but they're scrappy and they're athletic. Listen, it's hard to play like that when you're not having a great season. So that's a credit to those players and that coaching staff. to get those guys to play like that. Josh does a really good job. He's got a hard job. We all got hard jobs, but he's fighting, man. And I told every one of those kids coming through the line to keep how, proud I was of them, the way they played. They were hard to play, man. And then, like I said, we guard them. And then bam, they made a big three. Bam, they made a big three. They had all the momentum. We just found a way to win. Okay, that's it. Nothing fancy. And, but they beat Notre Dame. They gave NC State a tough one there. They're either getting better or getting worse. They're getting better.
And coach,
Mhm.
no matter how narrow the win was, it's still your first straight win. How nice is it to have the momentum going into the break, then the next 5 ACC games before Greensboro?
Did everything. I don't really want to have a bad week. I don't want to be mad, and that game, the most important game to me is in the non-conference is the one before Christmas, so you don't ruin Christmas. We beat Duke. This time I have to go recruit. We're going to be off for a week. I don't want to go in there feeling like that, and I don't think they did either. And so it's everything. Andrew hasn't practiced live in probably a week and a half. I mean, he's hurt, and so it's like we need it. Ty needs it, and so I'm looking forward to the break so they could get a little time in recovery.
Steve, Bobby's played like 26 games now, freshman.
Yeah.
He says his teammates are trusting him more.
Yeah,
Do you feel like he's
Yeah.
giving you what you want?
yeah. Trust is earned, right? You don't just get trust and respect. You got to go earn it, and he's earning it. But how do you earn it? Well, you get in there and you deserve to earn it by working hard every day and working on your craft and listening to the coaching staff and trying to play the way we ask you to play. Nobody's perfect, but we need him. He's a difference maker. Okay. And when he shoots those threes, I think they're all going in now. Like, I didn't feel that way probably early. Okay. But he made some free throws. He's playing off 2 better around the paint. He'll get even better at that. He's a pretty good player now. Yeah. Well, that's great coaching. Hey, it's that whole thing about young guys, right? Well, we can't do all these portal guys. And then, we get these freshmen. Oh, they're not ready. Oh, come on, man. What do you want? There's a mix, right? I believe that. There's a mix of older guys with younger guys. And everybody thinks we got an old team. We do not have an old team. We might have it on paper, by age, by experience. We do not. We have 2 guys that have really been in it, Ty and Davian. That is it. The rest of these guys are just growing up as we go. And they're doing Bobby's a great example of a guy. Cam too now. And Cam, he has his moments where you go, but then he has some great moments. And he's a competitive dude and he plays defense. And so I'm proud of him.
Stephen, 13 minutes to go in the game, 38 of Georgia Tech's 50 points come either on second chance.
Yeah, or turnovers.
On turnovers. That's what they ended with. So
Right.
they didn't get any of those
There you go.
turnovers.
I knew it was.
What changed down the stretch?
We quit turning it over, and we made easier plays, and we boxed out, and we tried at least, and then I think that was the timeout when I was pretty elevated. Okay, I'm not taking credit. I'm just telling you that was kind of the moment of truth, right? Either we're going to do it now or it's not going to happen. And they did, to their credit. They executed better. They didn't turn. A couple of those passes we threw, I'm like, what are we doing? Now we had 10 turnovers. It's still low. We only have 5. But only have 5 against Carolina. But 3 of Damari's were he's usually pretty safe. Like, what do you? He was trying to be unselfish. I get it because he was getting a lot of attention, but that play wasn't there. He had a couple where we just dribbled off our foot, but I agree. That's what was happening. That's why it wasn't really the defense. Really wasn't the problem. It was turnovers and not getting the ball, the 50-50 ball, the rebound. So I like to tell you that, hey, I drew up some fancy stuff, but nah. Basketball is not that complicated. Sometimes more is less and less is more. less.
Anything else?
I'm a poet and I didn't even know it.
What'd you think of Ty's Applebee's deal?
Incredible.
Yeah.
I might
Okay.
actually go there.
Is he gonna treat you to a meal?
You know what? I can tell you something about that kid. You know, he didn't listen, he didn't get rich off that deal now. Okay. But what he did get was some, I'm gonna tell you something about Ty Appleby. He got some coupons, right? Or some whatever. He gave them all to his teammates. And he gave one to one of the coaches that helps him every day, you know, staying on the doing the things that he needs to be doing to, you know, here at Wake because it's a hard school. That's the kind of guy that he is. He's eating good in the neighborhood, you know, in our neighborhood right now. I'm sure they're not even a sponsor. I probably just got in trouble, but I think that's what NIL is monetizing your name, image, and likeness for what you have accomplished. He didn't have that before he got here. He tried to get it. They didn't even answer his phone call in October. I think you heard him. He got interviewed at the ACC Media Day. They asked him, "Hey, what about Applebee's?" Oh man, they don't even return my phone call. Now what? Now he's got a national ad. Good for him. Good for him.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
How long would guys, wait to